Oh, there's one. Oh, I was gonna sneak up on you.
Separate different.
Hey everybody, can we get your attention please? How y'all doing? Alright. Just like to make a few announcements before we get everything going. I know you guys are eating and enjoying your food and stuff like that. Just remember when you're done, please be wearing your mask and just, keep the social distancing under control. So, as long as we follow those guidelines, we'll be good. My name is Travis. I was one of the editors and DP of this film, also one of the producers. How you guys doing? This nice gentleman over here next to me, this is our director, Aaron Warren. He would like to say a few words before we get this thing started. So, without further ado, here's Aaron.
Hey everyone, thank you guys so much. And a bunch of people put a lot of hard work into this film, and I'm glad we're able to have the screening. And the pandemic has been tough, but everybody's gotten everything good to go. So a lot of people are here, and I appreciate everybody's support for coming out and seeing the film. And without further ado, let's look at Todd.
Give us a couple minutes, we'll get everything rolling. We're going to get these doors and lights shut off. You guys enjoy the movie. Thank you very much.
Oh, let's go. Todd's about to scream, and it's going to get wild up in here.
Bye. I'm probably going to sit back here with my friend Micha.
I'm getting Claire's little birdsie.
Is she coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are they going to get the doors for us, or how's that going?
What's that?
Are they going to get the doors for us and stuff? Or? The project. I know Aaron and his writing partner, they've been working on this script for a little over a year, and then I got involved. So basically what y'all seen was about 2.5 years of my life on screen from start to finish. So I'm really happy with the way it came out. And like again, I want to thank everybody who was cast, crew, producers who helped make this go from script to screen. Because a lot of people out here, when they say they're going to make a film, it doesn't happen. They get, start the project, the movie ends up on a shelf, there's no distribution, and 9 times out of 10, you don't get to do what we're doing today. So that's a big accomplishment. I'd like to start off with the people that are on the stage right now. Mr. Doug, he is our executive producer. Sitting next to him is our director, Mr. Aaron Warren. Next up, we got Laura Stetman. Sitting right next to him, we got Aaron Jackson. And right next to him, we got Hernke. All right, who wants to?
And standing up, we have Travis Cecil.
Oh, there you go, better house lights.
All right.
There we have the house light.
Awesome. All right, we'll go ahead and kick off this Q&A. Anybody got some questions they want to ask anybody on the set? Shout them out, raise your hand. Don't be shy. I'll send Todd after you, he'll get you to the top. This is a quiet house. Who we got? All right, go ahead and stand up. What do you got?
Hi, I was just curious, what inspired this film for you, and were there any directors that you looked up to in creating this film?
That's a good question. I've always been a Stanley Kubrick fan. He kind of motivated me to do what I do. I think the a thought to what's going on with people like that really can't control what they are dealing with and how the struggle is real. And it kind of started out as a drama, but kind of a thriller aspect kind of entered when the story of the character kind of went off the deep end, and how one person can affect the whole situation around you, and how we treat other people as how we can either positively or negatively affect someone's life. So that's how the film began and kind of turned into what it was, a script, and then became the film that you saw today. So that's I can answer for you.
Don't be shy. Anybody else?
How long did it take you to write the script?
It took about a good, from script to completion, about maybe a good year or so to really polish it, about 3 drafts to get the script where it is. And so, yeah, but it became I think the script became a strong precursor to what we got now. So, yeah, about a year or so to write the script.
I'm curious what the. We have her, and then we'll get you. Ladies, okay, go for it. Yeah.
So, I know you have distribution on this film now. Can you tell us a little bit about the distribution and where we might be able to see the film once distributors release it or whatever?
All right. With distribution, what we did, we struck a worldwide deal with Bayview Entertainment. They gave us a 7-year deal on the contract. We've also partnered with Shoreline Entertainment from LA, who is going to help us with our foreign sales. And then also with Bayview, what they did, they just partnered on with another UK company. So we're going to test the markets out there as well. Availability from day one, from DVD to all major VOD platforms, it'll be March 16th when that gets released. And we're right now we're looking at, they're talking about Redbox. Man, who else do we got? I know we got Amazon. Yeah, Vimeo, Apple, iTunes. Pretty much any streaming platform you can get your hand on, you'll be able to see it on March 16th. Any more questions?
I know how actors do their part, and I'm interested in the actors' feeling about all of this as they've seen it all come together, what some of their reactions are.
Yeah. Hey everybody, it's Todd. Richard? When Aaron approached me to the script and the project, he was interested in me playing the role of Todd, and I read the script a few times, and I really didn't develop the character until I was actually on set with him the first day. We shot all of the psychiatrist's office scenes the first day, so everything had to keep building each scene that we were doing. That was very hard to develop your character on the very first day, through with a crescendo that everything happens in the movie, all in one day, on the first day of shooting. So my character started coming out on the first day of shooting, and I didn't want to watch any of the dailies, because if I did, I feel that would alter or make me overthink my performance. All I needed to hear from people was, "You're creeping me out, you're doing a good job, thumbs up," and that was good for me. But being a producer on the film, I had to learn how to switch back and forth, and it was quite a ride. I mean, there was days where I weren't filming, and I had to go out and do producer stuff. And I know to all the aspiring producers out there, when you're out doing errands and your phone doesn't ring, that is a good sign that things are going well on set. If your phone rings, like, oh, what's going on? So, we had a couple phone calls, but other than that, everything was good. We had a really good shoot. We had a really good, well-oiled machine, and everyone just plowed through it. It was a 17-day shoot, right, guys? 17 days? Yeah, 17 days all over Central Florida, in Orlando areas, and I was just really happy to be a part of this project. And after the film was done, I definitely wanted that character to check out of my body and not revisit it anymore. Because I think the two hardest scenes for me in the movie were the scene where I break into her apartment and then the scene where I break into their house. Those were all done one take, and we did those like 3 or 4 times, and that's all that we can really do, because if you overplay the scene, it starts to wear out. So those were my 2 hardest scenes, and I'm really happy how they came out, and overall everyone just really was on top of their game. So thank you guys.
I think the hardest thing is when you're not filming linearly, when we're going from, page 1 to page 53, back to 19, back to 104, or whatever. I think that's the hardest for us, just because where were we the page before, where do I have to be on the next page? So when Hans and I started on day 1 filming in the office, we shot those linear, but then we had to match the performances in between, because then the bar scenes and everything else. I think the hardest scene for me was the one that I did with Rhonda when we did the fighting scene in the house. For 2 reasons. Because it has to be out there. So we're filming in this Airbnb in the middle of Orlando, and it has this big turnabout circular cul-de-sac area. And we were shooting day for nights, right? So it's the middle of the afternoon. We're going to call it conservatively 12 o'clock. And we ended up blacking out all of the windows with garbage bags and just cleaning everything else. And anybody that knows me knows that all I do when we're off camera is screw around. That's all I do. I cut up all day long. I mean, that's just no. However, this particular day, this was this scene that we had, and take 1 was fine, take 2 something happened, take 3 something happened. And then there's this pound on the frickin' door. I mean, it was the middle of my take, and I'm like, what the? And it's on camera that we have this, me screaming. The next thing I know, comes walking in is a police officer in a full SWAT outfit, if you will. And he said that I've gotten some phone calls that you guys are making an adult film. Mind you, Rhonda's in lingerie at this point. Next thing I know, we're running through the NCIS machine with our driver's license, making sure that none of us are wanted or convicted or anything along those lines. That took us about 45 minutes, which ultimately for Ron and I, is getting back into those moments. I think that the best day on set was with this lovely young lady, because I interrupted one of her takes when she was looking at the dress and it was gone, and she turned around and I was in it. And I know this isn't our time to say thank you, but Doug, thank you so much for allowing us to play. Without you, we could not have played, so thank you. To the rest of our producers that funded this picture, thank you so much. AJ and Jennifer, the ones that I know that are here, and the handful of you that are not with us. A joy to work with you, Mr. Warren. Thank you so much for the opportunity to play Dr. Miller. And to co-star against these two, it doesn't get any better than this. So thank you both very much. And Travis, thank you so much for listening. So thank you guys so much.
All right, I was waiting to see if it would do the. I really wanted to rock out to that, but okay. So, I didn't hear it. All right. So, working on this movie was absolutely amazing. I think the greatest part about working on it was working again with these actors, because when you work with talent that is on such a level, it just makes you a better actor. And it makes you, essentially a better observer as well. So I remember when we first sat down in this living room, we all don't know each other, and we all just, read for the first time, and our first day shooting all together was going to be the day after that. And I just watched those two, Aaron and Hans, just react off of each other, and just watching them, even though it's still a read, they went a little bit more into character, and it's just amazing because you pick up so many things from watching other people. it just makes you stronger. So that was really cool. And then it was great with Hans because Hans and me, we actually were really cold to each other on set because I knew he was going to be my stalker and just creep me and all that. And so we had this like agreement ahead of time, like, all right, look, I work very like method. Hans works very method as well. And I was like, all right, cool. So we're just not going to speak to each other like the whole time. And I'll just see you in the scenes. And we kind of just, piggybacked off that. And then once it was done, we became like the greatest friends. I have another movie with him, so it's great. Yeah, and then with Amy, when Aaron first approached me, it was very cool because, you know, when like sometimes the universe makes you see something is like, it's right for you, that was definitely this role. Because he approached me, he's like, look, it's about an aspiring actress. There's gonna be a scene where she gets used by this director and she completely has to lose it and break down. There's also gonna be another scene where she gets a break-in. So basically she is having a pretty shitty life and she's going through these things, but you know, her goal is to be an aspiring actress despite it all. And so, you know, we kind of talked about the scenes and everything. And it was really weird because like I've definitely been used before, not by anybody in the industry, but like I know how that feels when you feel like shit the next day and you feel like, oh, I gave my everything to that someone and then for nothing they just up and left. So I definitely could react to that. And then I had gone through, when I lived in Orlando, 4 break-ins. So I could definitely relate to the break-in kind of thing. And then some of the behaviors that Todd was like doing in the movie did remind me of an ex-boyfriend I dated who was bipolar. So it's like all of this stuff lined up, and I told Aaron on the phone, he's like, well, wow. And I was like, yeah, I think that's pretty right for this character. So it kind of just worked out that way. It was a great film though, I love it.
If I got to be. I do want to say something if no one has another question. I do want to thank one person that for those of you who've been on set, you have nothing without your UPM on set. And our unit production manager was Lisa Wassel, and without her, she was our set mom, she was our set everything. Without her day-to-day running, when she was there, we would have had nothing. So Lisa, thank you so much.
So, does anybody else have any questions? Go ahead.
Christopher Wise, barman number 2. You didn't see my head, but.
Yeah, nice backbone. The backbone was perfect.
I just want to know, how do you guys have such good chemistry, like when you're picking cast and everything? It seemed like everybody really gelled really well, so I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, that's a funny question. I was asked that, and as a director, when you're casting, because I have a vision of kind of where I want things to go, but you never really know until you cast or who you cast how it's really going to work. So it's all kind of like a roll of the dice. So you're looking at reels, you're looking at other work, and you're saying, oh, I can see this. And the directors look at actor reels differently than regular people do. We look at what the previous thing did and that sort of thing. So you're hoping that it all gels. And when I cast Rhonda first, and then I cast Savannah, and I think they look like they could totally be mom and daughter. So that was the first process of that. And then Savannah just surprised the heck out of me by her acting ability. Yeah. So I was set there.
Savannah, in the middle of a take, literally could like just start crying, just how it literally
just like on call. And she actually asked me one time, I said, do you want the tear to fall the exact same way next take? I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, great. So I'm like, great, so awesome. So anyway, then I brought all that and Emily, Cecil, and all Travis. We were working together all on this casting and making sure everything went together. And I think everything had good chemistry. I think everybody had good chemistry on set. And it was an accelerated shoot, so it was hard to really for me to spend time with every actor on every scene, but I think everything came together. And I brought everything to Doug, and he's like, yeah, it looks good to me. So I went with it, and we paid the actors, and we have a movie. So here we go. So. I saw another hand somewhere.
I wanted to know, this is another one for the actors and actors.
What to wear, the when, and the why. And I think for me it was when I got my sweater. When I actually put my sweater on, I actually started to think, okay, this actually works for me. And then I started talking to Aaron about the wardrobe and the costuming. And that kind of set the precedent for the rest of it. And my shirts, we wore them a little bit tighter just to kind of restrain me. And I know that sounds crazy, but the physical side of it for an actor, you have something that's physically stopping you from being able to do something. It allows me to build when I did have the big blow up with her, and then also the big blow up with Todd and the team. And then I think also Aaron, his directing style is definitely unique, especially as a writer-director. Not so often does a director give you the opportunity to use his script as a roadmap. I don't care how you get there as long as you get there. And so it allowed us to have a little bit of free form with the dialogue. So I think that really helped us as actors be able to do it. Laura and I didn't have one frame on camera together at all. I was thrilled to have that moment. Han and I, everything, and then it was Rhonda and I, and then obviously Ashley and I, and that was it. So now we have those three viewer play off of. How can you not react to that? That's easy. And then it's a blessing that these two that truly loved their father. So it was just, for me, it was just a husband and wife and daughter situation. So that was my process.
My process when I created Todd was we read the script a couple times. I said before, like, I really didn't have an idea where he was going just yet until I went on set the first day with Aaron Johnson. And once we started doing the psychiatrist office scenes, I was able to start molding the character. And one thing I wanted to do, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but in my wardrobe, the very beginning of the movie, we start off with a very lighter color, and as the scenes go on, my wardrobe gets darker. So at the very end, I'm wearing a black jacket, and my hair is progressively changing too. So I kind of did that as a subtle hint that my character was going from kind of goofy and awkward and weird to a more darker place. And just feeding off of the energy from Aaron and Laura, it just I just was sucked into that character and couldn't get out of it until the end of the day. There was a point where we were doing the scene where I broke into her apartment, that we were running a little behind it. Like, microphone, could you please stop? So, no, we were. We were running behind, and lunch was about to start, and Laura and I were so into that scene that we said, no, we're not going to break for lunch. We have to finish this scene, because if we break for lunch, we're going to lose all that momentum that we had during the whole day. And those two scenes were the hardest for me to do.
Oh, there was one where, remember, when we put the dress on backwards? And
Yeah.
I was just like, he didn't stop us, he let us go through the whole thing. And then he's like, that was great, but I just noticed the dress was on backwards. You're like,
Yeah, I put the dress on
The
backwards.
bad thing about that, the reason why we couldn't stop that scene, like, when these actors were in that moment, it's like, all right, maybe there's some trickery with editing or whatever, but I couldn't break that up, and I had to let them go all the way through. And we're talking about, that scene lasted a good 10 and a half minutes, and it was all shot in one take. So, I mean, not only was it a dance with the actors, but
Yeah.
you got me filming it, you got the sound guy behind me, and we all got to make sure we move, and, you know, it was amazing to see.
Yeah, we filmed that from a lot of different angles, but the ones that are in the movie, it felt like a dance between me and. Okay, we're back. It's awesome. It's awesome.
As long as the DJ's done up there. It seems like it.
Up here when we know it's right.
Yeah, I have no idea. We all got a little Todd in us, I guess. We got time for a couple more questions before we wrap this stuff up. Yes, Savannah?
This is more like an add-on to what you were doing, but I know I wasn't able to work with Laura, even though you're always so sweet. I wasn't able to actually do any scenes with Laura, but I did scenes with Aaron and Hans. And the thing about Hans is you're a method actor, and I got warned beforehand because, I mean, I'm a minor, so they're like, don't be freaked out, but he might be kind of like freaky. I was like, oh, okay. And I meet him, and he's just the sweetest guy ever, but like, you were still like Todd, like you were still him, but like a different side of Todd towards me. And I always appreciated that, and you're just always silly. So, it was just great, just because I could, like, it was just, I was a little bit freaked out beforehand because I was told, like, don't, like, take it to offense because he's a method actor, but I know you would always save me Capri Suns and stuff like that, and you're just the sweetest. So I love both you guys and Laura.
Oh.
You gotta point out Jason Madison. Oh my gosh, our scene, we clicked. Sometimes actors just have chemistry like that. That was me and him. Like
And a little insight on Jason's character. While it was winding down, we had 24 hours to cast him while we're in the middle of filming. So in between takes, we're going back and forth, back and forth. It was me, Lisa, Aaron, Warren. You know, they're sending in actors' reels as we're filming the movie. And it was like, all right, we're getting closer towards like dinner time that night, and we had to make that decision. And I'm not gonna lie, the first time I seen Jason's reel, that was it for me. And the other two, I couldn't even tell you their names. I never even watched it. We put it up to a vote. Within the next afternoon, he was there on set, already had his lines memorized, everything. So I want to give a big shout out to Jason for that. Tremendous actor. Thank you very much.
Jason's originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where I'm from. And Jason and I, we're the same age. We're the same kind of, same agent, same manager growing up all through Pittsburgh and even through to LA. The first picture I worked on was a film called Lorenzo's Oil. And he worked on Lorenzo's Oil. From there, we went on to An Innocent Blood with Valerie Bertinelli. He was on that. Then I got on a network series in LA. He was on my series. We never crossed paths on any of these projects until we get here.
Yep.
So, again, we're a pleasure to work with you, sir. So.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for being here, Jason. It really means the world to us all. Jason is a big-time working actor. He went from Friday night to having premieres. He had an audition the next day, and then he drove all the way out here just to see us. So it was a great surprise to see him join us here today. Thank you. All right, we got time for about one more before. All right, and then before we end this, our executive producer, Mr. Doug Wall, would like to speak to everybody. Okay. You want to ask the question first? All right. Okay.
You're Kate, right? You did a fabulous job.
Thank you.
You were really Savannah, your scenes were just fabulous.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Doug.
All right, well, hi. I'm the executive producer and still trying to get used to the title. Out of Mike here. This has been a 2-year process. Aaron approached me about 2 years ago. I had helped him on a prior film, and he told me the concept of this movie and what he wanted to do, and the amount of money he involved, and the effects and the people he wanted to bring in. I said, get the best people. Just go get the best people, and we'll make the best movie, and make the best movie, everything will work out the back end. So this entire time when I'm on set, or one day, or an after party, or even here, everybody's always thanking me for being the executive producer. This is my time to thank everybody who involved in this film. The sense of family and the way everybody works together has been phenomenal. Aaron, my friend first, Travis, everybody doing the production. I actually had to send me a list of some people here. One of the issues we had at the end was trying to figure out how to get the sound done, and we ended up deciding to get in touch with Full Sail, where my wife works. And I'd like to give a shout out to Dave Chimella and Jason Strawley. You guys here? and music and the Foley and all the environmental effects is really what makes the movie. Otherwise, you're just looking at pictures. And the quality of work that you provided us and helping get this done, I'm very thankful for that. I think it's phenomenal. So I want to thank Aaron, Josh, Travis, Emily, I'm going to forget people, Lisa, John, Jennifer, AJ. They took the product and made what you saw on the screen today. A finished product that will be worldwide, and people will be seeing our film that we made here in Orlando. They took the product, but the product is only good as the actors or the actresses involved in it. So I'd like to thank Hans, Aaron, Laura. I'd like to thank Cecil. And I'd like to thank Rhonda. Everybody. You're all here. I'd like to thank you all. Being an executive producer, I'll be in my second film with Aaron, and you've made this a wonderful experience, and I hope that we'll be able to do it again some other time.
So we had this idea.
Yeah.
Thank
you all, and thank you all for being here. It's more than the people involved with the film, it's the family and friends that support them, that allow them to do what they do and produce what they do. So on behalf of everybody involved with the film, to everybody else not involved with the film, thank you for being here and supporting, and hopefully we get this going good.
We have nothing to show. So I want to thank every person who supports the film, who supports me, Doug, families, friends, and people who believe in the project. Because without you guys coming out to have a screening, there's nothing to screen. So thank you to all of you for coming out, and be blessed with all your endeavors in your life. So thank you guys.
Thank you, John Kerry.
Yes, I was just told we do have merchandise, t-shirts, posters, masks, that say Todd on it. Well, we can apply for that. But we're also, on the cast, me and the producers and us on stage, we'll be back in the back in a few minutes to sign autographs. And we have our headshots and posters, and when you get a poster, we'll gladly sign for you and talk to you for a few minutes, but masks only though. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for coming.